NBA Finals, Wednesday night. Pacers are 5.5-point underdog. I did come to and we'll get into some of this later on here, maybe over the next week or so. I obviously I say this, I qualify this all the time. You know, ESPN's been like very good to me. I love ESPN. I love calling games for ESPN. Blah blah blah. Like that's all legit for real. Like so grateful that I get to do that. As a kid who grew up watching the NBA on NBC and the NBA Finals, really feeling like a masterpiece of an event, just like an overall hype machine. And I don't care who's playing, whether it's, you know, there was a point in time, if you remember, where the bad boy Pistons were playing the Portland Trailblazers. That is not two like menacing media markets like New York and LA. I, as a kid, was still hanging on to every dribble because of the way those games were presented. Example. Then they would show, and this has got nothing to do with politics, so don't even take it there, but they would show the national anthem, right? They would show the starting lineups, okay? Which was kind of an intimate look at whatever team had going on, hype and excitement-wise pregame. It was always cool to see. Like, I can remember being so disappointed that, you know, that Cyrus song that the Bulls would play, you know, which basically became like the MJ song, you know, and was part of their magical run to all those titles. I remember the Utah Jazz used the same friggin' song against the Bulls in the finals. I remember as a kid being like, what is going on? They can't have their own. I remember the Sonics used Run Like Hell from Pink Floyd. And they had the friggin' that gorilla or you know what I'm talking about? Harry and the Hendersons dude is coming down from the ceiling, Sasquatch. It was just amazing. This is before the Sonics and the Bulls played in the 97 NBA Finals. Like, and you got the goosebumps. They start playing Run Like Hell by Pink Floyd. Now we're just coming back from break. And here it is. And it's no knock on Mike Breen or I don't have a real issue with, there's so much crap out there about like Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson. And I think that's like any broadcast team trying to find their footing and their chemistry. It's really, I think if anything, it's a lesson on just how delicate that is and how it can take a minute or two to get going. And why 3-man booths are really, really difficult. They're difficult to flourish in, especially if you're an analyst. And so sometimes it feels like people are pushing it a little bit. Broadcasters, maybe it feels like they're pushing it when they're not. You know, but it's so hard even for the best of the best, like a guy like Richard Jefferson, who we know is comfortable in his own skin, right? Still feels like sometimes he's trying a little hard to get his point in, you know, because that's why he's there. Why wouldn't he do that? So that is, I think, something that broadcast team is still kind of wrapping their arms around, but they do a phenomenal job. In my opinion, I think Doris Burke is really good. And I have no issues with the broadcast team. I do have issues in the lack of hype. And I felt like in game 2, they were playing catch up, putting the trophies, the Larry O'Brien trophies on the court. What?
Like this right here? Yeah. You notice I did that? We have as much production value right here as ESPN. I can get a JPEG of the trophy too and throw it on the screen. Isn't that something?
There is the Larry. Dude, even as a kid.
And look, when I put my hand up, it actually doesn't go in front of the trophy like it did half the time on their broadcast.
Come on, Scotty.
I'm just saying.
So I couldn't agree more. When I was a kid, I keep saying when I was a kid back in my day, but I remember there was the EA Sports game. I mean, this is right around like the John Madden football boom. There was Lakers versus Celtics. There was actually Bulls versus Lakers. There was an iteration of that game. And if you did it in playoff mode, they would have that script NBA Finals look on the court or NBA playoffs, right? Like, where the hell did that go? I don't understand why that's not a point of emphasis or not some kind of a rule that, you know, I can't believe the NBA can't have these courts put something like that on their court and actually have it on the hardwood and not have it like a JPEG and not actually forget to do it and then respond to criticism and then try to meet the moment with that superimposed Larry O'Brien trophy.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets back to something you said Sunday night about small markets and the ratings being down.
Yeah.
Would they be treating the finals this way if it was Lakers Celtics this year?
No, they will be showing the starting line. I believe they would.
Yeah.
I believe they would.
So that to me sucks. As much as I understand why Lakers Celtics would be like the biggest thing on TV.
Yeah.
You should have the same production for the finals regardless of who's playing it.
Well, and why wouldn't you, especially for a team maybe people are less familiar with? Like, those starting lineups, the Detroit Pistons, when they had that PA guy named Mason. He might still be there. He was probably one of the best in the NBA at the time. This is like the Larry Brown Pistons. And like when they introduced Ben Wallace, dude, if you didn't get goosebumps, like
dude,
you had a problem.
Remember.
You had a problem that I couldn't solve.
I remember.
I mean, it was woo.
I could still name that whole starting Pistons lineup right now.
Yeah.
And it's because and I did not know them in the regular season living in Texas.
Exactly.
It's because they showed it.
Yes.
They talked about it. All those guys.
You'd see Rip Hamilton. You'd see Tayshaun Prince, right? You'd see Chauncey Billups.
Yes.
And now, I think it would be so cool to get to know the Pacers. By the way, the Pacers. I kind of feel like we know the Pacers. Well, not really, but Oklahoma City.
I think the Thunder. I think more people know the Thunder's lineup than the Pacers.
Yeah, and it was so like it kind of doesn't do the fans their justice because it was so loud in there. You could tell. I mean, just watching the pregame show, you really couldn't talk. And we had the week you were off. We had Chris Williams from Oklahoma City here, and he was like, and I'd never heard this from someone from Oklahoma City, and I'd never been to a game there. But Chris is like, if you don't wear earplugs on the floor, like you can't, like you're screwed.
I mean, that's their only professional team.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's like San Antonio. You go to a Spurs game, it's similar. That's their only professional team. Like, they get crazy.
All right, what about Haliburton?
Oh gosh, are we doing that before we bring Cam in?
I guess we can't today. We can do it tomorrow though, because it's a Wednesday.
Let's have a longer discussion tomorrow. But yeah, I was disappointed in your Sunday night stream, Pete.
Scotty, you are so in love with this guy.
I'm disappointed that you think the only way one can be a superstar is by scoring buckets.
Dude, he hasn't scored more than 20 points in the first two games of the finals. He hit an amazing game winner. Okay.
What do all the Michael Jordan stans tell me about why Jordan is still better than LeBron, despite LeBron having passed him in every statistical category?
Being clutch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can't argue with it because I think if I was just being intellectually honest, if I had a last-second shot to win a game, I do trust LeBron to take that shot, but I'd probably rather have Luka, and I'd probably rather have Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And now I'm asking myself, would I rather have Tyrese Haliburton?
I don't want to be dramatic, but
He's 4 for 4. He's 4 for 4 this postseason.
Then why don't I feel like that about him?
Because I knew what was going to happen in game one. I said it on your show before game one.
You did.
I knew it was going to happen. I turned on the TV because I'd actually taken off in the third quarter. I was busy. I looked at the score at the fourth. I saw the Pacers were within like 10. I was like, oh my God, they're going to give him the ball at the end again.
I couldn't believe it.
And he did it. And I knew when they had the ball with 5 seconds to go. I'm like, they're going to give this to Tyrese. Everybody in this building knows he's going to take some goofy looking shot and he is going to make it. And when he took the shot, I had no doubt. I had no doubt.
One last question for you. What is it, the chicken or the egg? Are teams not respecting him? How is he able to get these shots off? If he's such a killer, and this is not a knock on him at all. I'm trying to figure out if defenses have not yet caught up to how lethal he can be.
Pete, I don't know
if he's so good at getting loose.
I think it's both, if we're being honest. But listen, if this had just happened in the first series against the Bucks, I might go with your theory. If this had just happened in the second series, I might go with it. But by the time we get to the Knicks, you know what's going to happen. At the end of game one, every person watching TV and every person in that building knew who was going to get the ball for the last shot.
He's still got a real clean look off. What's his face? I forget the dude's name right now. Was kind of like in no man's land and didn't commit to kind of double him. And then,
Insane.
yeah.
We all knew who was going to take that shot.